Joey Logano knows conflict. It's a part of his history, and he's not afraid to admit it. Not surprisingly, it hasn't won him many friends along the way. Just ask Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, or Kyle Busch. They've all had beef with the Team Penske driver at some point in their careers. Last year, Logano took his conflict game to another level. It all started at the season opening race at Daytona. Heading into the race's final lap, the 2018 Cup Series champion took the white flag first out of the field, with his Penske teammate Brad Keselowski on his rear bumper, and a train of cars following right behind. The two Penske cars led for most of that final lap, until they didn't. It all fell apart when Keselowski tried to make multiple moves, which Logano blocked. The number two's final move to pass turned disastrous when both cars set off a fiery chain reaction that collected multiple cars and allowed Michael McDowell to sneak through for the victory. And that's when the finger pointing began. After the race, Keselowski took a shot at Logano, saying he can't drive everyone's car. The two weren't on speaking terms for days.
And I think, everyone cooling off is probably going to be good. But, the analogy I used on Sirius a minute ago was it's a marriage, right? And when you're married to somebody, you have to figure it out. You're married. You don't just leave, right? You get married, it's supposed to be forever. And so when you have conflict or you have differences of opinions or whatever, you have to talk about it. You're forced to. You can't just roll it up under the rug, right? It's just not going to work. It's not healthy. People do that. It's just not healthy to do. And so it's kind of the situation here where I will be forced and he will be forced to work with me. We're still teammates. We will have to figure this out. We may not have to agree on everything, but we at least have to find a way to move forward.
The pair did move forward, and Keselowski moved on to a new team at the end of the season. At this year's Daytona 500, Team Penske showed it had learned from last year's mishap, when Ryan Blaney ceded the lead to Austin Cindric on the final restart, and the two didn't battle it out until it was certain one of the cars would win. Logano wasn't in the hunt at Daytona, but was last week at Fontana, and the 31-year-old had a front row seat to the late race incident between Kyle Larson and his teammate Chase Elliott. In fact, it was Logano who effectively caused it, as the number 5 team was focused on the number 22 running on his inside and didn't see the number 9 making a move on the outside. Larson reacted too late and escorted Elliott into the fence. The typically reserved 2020 champ went ballistic, with a profanity-laced tirade aimed directly at the reigning champ. Having been in a similar situation just a year earlier, Logano addressed the Kyle Larson-Chase Elliott conflict during his weekly appearance on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, echoing a lot of the things he said following his Daytona 500 incident with Keselowski. Interestingly, he provided intricate details on the situation and didn't exactly paint a rosy picture of what's happened this week at HMS headquarters.
And it's awful. If I'm being honest, it is the worst when you have teammate drama. I hate being in drama anyways, but I'm in it because I race hard and I try to win. But I don't like it. And when it's with the teammate, it's even worse because you can't get away from it. You have to fix it. You have to. I don't know how, but you have to, because you're teammates and that's not going to change. And so you have to figure out how to come to some neutral ground and see each other's side and talk it through and figure out how to move forward. Because what happens, and I'm sure this happened at the racetrack right afterwards, is now there's two sides, right? Hendrick is now not one team anymore. There's two sides. Until they can fix it, there's the 5 and there's the 9. And everyone is forced to pick a side. It's right. It's like when your friends get divorced, right? You got to pick a side, it seems like, right? It's kind of hard to be friends with both, right? And it's that type of situation, I think, for the teams and the people on the team. And and everyone's going to see it in different ways, and that will destroy a race team quickly, point blank. It will, because now everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone's talking about each other behind each other's back. You know, now it's a big competition internally of who's going to beat who, and you better get them back or not get them back, or got to move forward. Everyone's got an opinion on this thing, and you're not talking about race cars anymore. You're talking about high school drama, right? That's what it goes to, and so it's awful. I've been through it, and it's just not fun.
Later in that same interview, Logano admitted conflict is all a part of racing. He understands that fans love the drama, and then suggested that fans will have a lot to love in 2022 with more conflicts, a result of the new next-gen car.
It's part of racing, and it's going to happen a lot this year, I think, because these cars are very much the same. From team to team, but internally, the cars are identical for the most part. It might be a couple little setup changes and might be a little better here or there, but we're going to be racing each other a lot. I'm going to be racing my teammates a lot this year. I know that already. And how that all works and plays out, who knows, but we're probably going to be racing for wins a few times this year.
The new car has already produced quality racing this year. If a byproduct of that is more conflict and drama between the drivers, even on the same teams, 2022 should be a fun and entertaining year.